If you're an entrepreneur or a high performer who struggles with the feeling where no matter what you do, it's never enough, it's not good enough, and you need to constantly add more, do more work, try to go harder, and you can't seem to actually enjoy the moment, to actually feel the fulfillment from the work that you've done, this is going to be the training for you today. Now, I'm going to break down exactly why this is happening. And it's actually funny enough, you're going to be surprised how easy and simple this is. This isn't going to be a long breakdown and a chaotic process. No matter how long you've been dealing with this, and no matter how much you've been struggling with this, today is going to be the path to hopefully set you free or I'll give you the exact steps to allow yourself to set yourself free. So think of it like this. Let's dive right in here. Now, mind you, this is something that I've dealt with on my entrepreneurial journey as well. And if you're anything like me, this is something that really I struggled with for a long time, where no matter what goals I would accomplish, even if people around me would be like, "Hey, that's super good. You're really, accomplishing more. You're really doing it. You're really making it happen." To me, what I would feel is a small little bit of excitement from the goals that I would accomplish. It would feel great for a little while, but then it would quickly run out. And then it went right back to this inside feeling of like, it's not enough. I need to do more. And this feeling trapped me in a way. And I got into business to be free, but this feeling trapped me because if I wanted to take time off, if I wanted to enjoy a holiday, a birthday, I wouldn't actually be able to enjoy it and be present because the whole time, if I even did do it, which I'd probably just cancel and not go, instead work, but I would deny myself of all these other things that I loved in my life and all these other passions to do more work, to build the business more because inside I never felt like I was enough. So if I went and did these events and took this time off, I would feel extreme guilt and shame, and it would eat me up inside, and I'd have terrible anxiety, and I would just can't wait to rush back to my office to get back to work. Now, before I thought that's just the way it is, like the stoic mindset, screw my emotions, they don't matter. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do the work. Like this is what I signed up for. But I honestly forgot that the reason why I did sign up for entrepreneurship is number one, it's in me, it's part of me, but I want the freedom. I want to build my life the exact way I want to. I don't want this internal feeling of never being like I feel like enough to run my world. And a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially if you're watching this and you're still here, you're probably dealing with this as well. And I'll tell you, you don't need to run off that fuel. That fuel does not need to be the main source that's going to allow you to keep going, accomplishing more. There's another way to approach things. And I'll tell you, running off this feeling, no matter what you do accomplish, you're never going to fill that void until we make the shift. And today we're going to make that shift. But no matter how much more success you get, how much more money you get, how much more recognized you get, how much more fame you get, whatever it may be, you will not fill that void inside until we approach it in a completely different lens. I'm going to explain it all here to you soon. But if you resonate with this, you really, really want to pay attention. So here you are right here, and you're running up the mountain of success. And it's like you accomplish this, okay, and the feeling comes back. It's never enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. And this is the whole thing that's been driving you forwards the whole time. And you're hoping that when I get here, when I get to this top, so, probably many of you, if you're like me, you have this big long-term vision or dream that you want to accomplish, maybe for yourself, your future family, whatever it may be. Might be money, might be happiness, right? It might be fame. I'll put an F for fame, whatever it may be. But there's a part of you that thinks, okay, when I get here, then I'll finally feel like I'm enough. Then I'll finally feel like I'm doing good enough. I'll finally feel like I am enough inside. I'm good enough, whatever it may be. But here's what I'll tell you is that you thought that at every single peak, and it never still is enough. And the reason comes down to the old Hermetic law, the old ancient teachings that we've known throughout history is as within, so without. And what I mean by that is that you cannot change your external world in hopes that internally you're going to feel like enough. No matter what accomplishments you get outside of you, it is not going to fill that void. We need to change it within first, and then it will change without. It will change outside of us. You will start to see it. It will start to reflect in your personal reality. Now, how does that actually work though? Because this isn't just some like ancient hermetic teachings and principles or ancient principles and laws or whatever it may be. Like this is there's an actual explanation for this. I'm going to show you how this works. If you're watching this or listening to this without watching the screen, I'm just drawing right now. I highly recommend you watch the videos. So let's say this is reality. Obviously, this is you. Okay. And in reality, in your work, what you see is, say it's never enough. So think of it's never enough as the lens to which you're seeing life through. So think of it's never enough as a lens to which you're seeing life through. Now, how does this work? How does it work? How is it that, there could be somebody else just like you, there could be somebody else just like you who is accomplishing the same thing, but they feel enough. How is it that? How is it possible? I'm going to show you. So here's how you want to think of it. All right. In your external world, it feels like it's never enough, no matter what you do. And that maybe for you, it's building crippling anxiety. Maybe you're doing things that are just completely ruining relationships or your social life, your outer world or your outer life or other passions, or you can't seem to feel free because this is like locking you down. And it's just, you just built your life off of this feeling and you want to change it. So this is what's happening. Basically, is how you see, because here's what you should know. Reality itself, reality itself is neutral. And all the things that you accomplish or don't accomplish, the things that you do or don't do, it's just neutral. You're the one who assigns the meaning. So you assign meaning to the things happening in your life. Same thing with you, how you perceive the things going on in your life. So your perspective. Same thing with your focus. These all come from the one same place. It's going to help you understand this. Your focus, how you perceive things, your meaning, how you act, etc. All this comes from one single thing. Okay, this one single thing influences what you focus on, what you give meaning to, and your perspective. And that's why there could be two people who live the exact same lives, but they're experiencing that life completely differently. The common story about the kids with the alcoholic father, one grew up and became sober, one grew up and became an alcoholic like his dad. Interviewer asked them, "Why are you the way you are?" Both had the same answer: because my dad was an alcoholic, right? So they just had a different perspective. They gave that situation a different meaning, and then they acted in different ways moving forwards, right? It's like the common saying of life is only 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it moving forwards. Something bad happens in your life, you put the label as bad on it, and then you react in a negative way, like someone takes something from you, and then you react to it, and then you cause more negativity in your life, right? But someone could take something from you and you could learn from that. You could change, you could get away from them. You can make sure they don't take it again. Now you turn that negative experience into a positive. So, where does this all come from, right? What actually influences our focus, the meaning we assign to things, our perspective on things, and how we act? It all comes from your beliefs. Okay. And I can even say your identity as well, because your identity is the layer before your beliefs, because your beliefs kind of form your identity, which I explained that in another training. But your beliefs is what influences all of this. So basically, the reason why in reality you feel like it's never enough no matter what you do, that it's never enough, that you're not good enough, or whatever it may be, it's not actual universal truth. It's not truth with a capital T. Just ask yourself, when I was a little baby, like if you were to look back at yourself as a little tiny baby, would you say that little baby is not enough? That little baby is not good enough, that they're never going to be good enough, they're never going to be enough? No, right? Obviously not. So somewhere down the line in your life, there was a program that was like there was something programmed into you, we'll say, this belief of it's never enough or I'm not good enough. And now that's basically how you've been living. That's the program that you're running off of. So you have this deep internal belief, okay? This belief, and let me show you how beliefs actually change our entire lives. So you have this deep internal belief, okay, of I am not enough. Your beliefs influence the thoughts that you have, okay? Your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. So as you think a thought, let's say you have a creative mind, you can see that thought in real time, you experience that thought. You're almost living out a scenario. What happens is you also experience an emotion. Emotions are not random. You must have an interpretation of the event that's happening. The event could be imagined or it could be reality, and then you experience an emotion. Once you interpret the thing, then you experience an emotion. It happens so fast you don't even know it. And that's why you think your emotions are random. And how you interpret things comes down to, again, your core belief systems. So your belief systems influence the thoughts that you have, and then that also influences the emotions that you have. Now, these two tied together create identity, okay? And identity, and you can also say emotions because, your emotions do, for the most part, for most of us, influence our actions. Our identity influence our behaviors and actions. Same thing with emotions, we could say. So we have actions, and then that gives what? Results. Okay. And how the brain works is that your brain isn't trying to find the truth in reality. So your brain's not trying to find the full truth in reality. It's not trying to help you become successful. It's not trying to do any of that. The brain's job is literally to be a prediction machine in reality to make sure that you follow the path of most familiarity, that you follow the path that is most certain, that is most safe. That's what your brain's designed to do, is basically take your beliefs as instruction manual and follow those in reality and just reconfirm your beliefs. So the results you get, reconfirm those in reality, in real time. And it's a system that just plays out. So somebody who believes that they're not good enough, that they're not enough, right? They're going to think in ways that align with that. And they're going to have that emotional void, that pit inside them, that feeling inside somewhere's deep within, inside them. That's going to be part of their identity construct, who they believe they are, someone who's not good enough, that it's never enough, no matter what they do. And that's going to influence how they act and behave and show up. And that's why a lot of them burn out, self sabotage, get very depressed, have addictions to try to fill this void, right? Try to numb yourself. All these things sprout from this pit because we're trying to change it outside of us. We're trying to numb it. We're trying to distract ourselves. We're trying to accomplish more success to hopefully feel enough. But you never do because you're not changing the system. You're trying to change your outside world without changing the inside world. Yeah, you can change the outside world, but you'll still interact, feel, and be the same inside of that world, in that world, if that makes any sense. And mind you, too, what you should know is that all the things that you think that you want in reality, all the goals, all the success, it all comes down because it's not the thing itself of why you're accomplishing it. It's the feeling you think you're going to get when you accomplish the thing. If I get more success, I will feel better. I will be more respected. I will have more money, which means I will have more freedom. It's all an emotion. You think it's the materialistic things, but it's all the emotion that you get from the materialistic things. And if you don't believe me, just ask yourself, if you had the same goals, but you knew they were going to make you the most miserable, depressed, unhappiest person in the world, your family would hate you if you got those goals, would you still be driven to go after those goals? Not really, right? You wouldn't really want them so much. So it's all for a feeling that you think you're going to get. But the problem is that we're brought up and how we're programmed a lot of time to neglect those feelings and to wait. Okay. I will give myself almost conditional love. All right. I'm not enough until I go do this thing. I'm not worthy until I go accomplish these things. But that makes, and just because just this is just how your brain works, like how your mind works, that is a never ending loop of suffering because you're coming from a place of lack. And in reality, you're always going to find that lack over and over and over again. And sometimes the notion, the people, like I think the why it's so promoted, and especially like with men too. Like if you look at a man's algorithm who is somewhat driven to succeed in life, you will notice his algorithm is full of just like, you got to suffer. You got to struggle. It's going to be hell. You're going to go through hell. It's going to be the worst thing ever. You're not good enough. You're not worthy, blah, blah, blah. You got to go out and prove yourself in the world. You got to go do these things. And here's the thing is that that doesn't have to be that way. That's literally just a belief system that, as a collective, we bought into like, hey, to accomplish great things, you need to suffer badly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not universally true. It's not universally true. There is the greats who have accomplished great things who have not necessarily followed that path of like, hey, you have to be depressed and miserable. I'm not saying you're not going to go through pain and challenges. I think pain and challenges are part of the journey, right? It's part of growth to constrict, to go through those low moments. They're there for you. They're there for you. But to stay in that low moment, to always be suffering and struggling, that I would say is a choice. That is a choice. But it is a part of the overall journey. So back to what I was saying is that you have this internal feeling, this belief of it's never enough. It's not good enough for whatever it is for you. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I'm not deserving. My love is earned. And then outside of you, you're trying to fill that gap. You're trying to fill that hole by accomplishing these things, by doing these things for people, by being somebody who you're not, by doing all these things. And what you're finding at the end of the day, though, is that it's the same cycle. It's not enough. It's not going to be enough. And it's never going to be enough. And that's the lie. It's never, or that's the, it's never actually going to be enough until you change the belief that is producing all of the things that's causing this to happen in the first place. And this is where the saying goes, as within, so without. Because if you don't, it doesn't matter what you accomplish because your mind is set on reconfirming your belief system. So when you accomplish that amazing thing that you thought would make you feel worthy and good, and it did for a little bit of time, but now you're back to it's not enough, it's because now your mind's focusing on finding evidence to reconfirm that same belief. So you have this new evidence of, hey, I'm worthy because I made this more money this month, because I did these things. Your mind's just going to filter that out. It doesn't really matter because that's not helping your belief systems. So we'll put that to the side and we'll go find evidence on why we're still not good enough and why we need to go out and do more and more and more. And here's what I'll say. As a person internally, if you are chasing this success and these goals, you are naturally driven to do that. You don't need this pain and negative fuel to fuel you to go do those things. Because that might be a worry. Like, well, if I already feel like if I am enough, if I am good enough, what's the point of going out and accomplishing things? The point is because you want to do it in the first place. Because that's in your nature. That's who you are. You're naturally going to go do it no matter what. So you don't need to bring this baggage with you in hopes that it will help you excel farther. Because I would argue it's actually not. Because here's the biggest lie in the game. The biggest lie in the game is that success without fulfillment, right? You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the things in the world, but if you're not happy or fulfilled at the end of the day, well, then you got caught up in a lie. That's the worst thing ever. The key, true success, is actual fulfillment, love, living your own personal life, becoming your own greatest self in all ways. So, how do we change this then? How do we change this? We got to go within. We got to change the belief system. We got to change the process. Because once you change the belief system, then naturally you will start to change your thoughts. You will start to feel different. You will start to act different. You will start to build a new identity. And therefore, you will start to get different results. You will start operating and functioning as a new being. So the easiest thing I can share with you here today, because this is the exact work that I do with my high-level one-to-one clients. And if you want that one-to-one help, you can apply down below if this is something that you really resonate with. The biggest nugget I'll give you, though, today is to realize that any belief that you have that is very negative about yourself or disempowering is never actually true. I've done this hundreds of times, and every single time, there is never a negative belief about yourself that is actually universally true. It's never actually rooted in truth. It's the first nugget I'll share with you. So as you dig in and you question these beliefs, and first of all, you got to find the beliefs. And I have videos on how you can do this. If you scroll through my YouTube, you can find it. But you basically got to find the limiting belief. And then you have to set your ego aside because your ego is going to try to try to almost show you or give you an illusion that this is true. This is true, that you're not enough, that you're not enough, because your beliefs don't want to change. Your brain doesn't want you to change your beliefs because that's the operating system. And if you change that, then there's a period of uncertainty. That's where it's uncomfortable, right? That you just need to walk through and embody this new identity. But a lot of people retreat because they don't like that. But if you change your limiting beliefs, right? So you first awareness, you find the beliefs, then you start to question them, you start to dissect them. Once you get to the root of it and you realize, okay, I have this belief that I am not enough, I'm not worthy, whatever it may be, you question it. You realize that it's not universally true. Like it's literally just not universally true, plain and simple. So there's no reason for me to hold on to this belief then. If it's not actually true, why hold on to the belief? Then you can start to let go of the belief. Then you go through the process of changing the beliefs, letting go of the fears behind changing the beliefs, all that work there, do the shadow work, as they say. And then you can start to integrate the new powerful belief system. And then as you do so, then it's a manual override. So you have to manually practice embodying this new identity. You have to step in this state of thinking and feeling as the person who's already good enough, as the person who's worthy, or whatever it may be for you. And then as you step into that new state, you take action off that state, and then you find evidence for why this is working out, why this is real. And you continue to do this over and over and over again, and you will override the old belief system. You will program the new belief system, and that will genuinely be who you are and how you operate. And then you can go get the same success, but now you're no longer suffering with that internal pit, that internal void, because now you're coming from a whole place. You're coming from the place of, I already am enough, I already am good enough. And then everything outside of you is just a reflection of that. So now, if you do this, now you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. Now you can actually enjoy the success and the things that you've actually accomplished in your life because you'll see it, you'll spot it, you'll realize it, you'll absorb it in, you'll feel it, and your life will get 100 times better. So that is the training for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I know this is a very niche down training, but I feel it's really needed because this is something that growing up, I struggled with so badly. This ran my life for so many years, and it just made me into a person I didn't want to be. And it made my business into a business I didn't want it to be. And my whole life and just how I was, it just wasn't who I want to be. And I know like the struggle of it sucks. And it's not a good feeling. So if this at least helps one of you, my job is done here. So if this did help you, if this helped you understand yourself a little more, leave a comment below what hit home the most. Again, subscribe there below, and you can apply for one-to-one. I only do one-to-one coaching right now, so there is limited spaces. Kind of hand select who I work with. So if you do want to apply, you can apply. There's a link down below. If you're a high-level entrepreneur or a high achiever who wants to unlock your next level, you can apply down below. But thank you so much for being here, guys. I will see you on the next training. Remember, every single Monday and Thursday. I'll see you next time.